Welcome to Valley of the Sun Real Estate Show. Anything and everything you need to know when it comes to your real estate needs right here in the state of Arizona.
Hello, AZ. How are you doing and what do you see? Hopefully, it's a home in your future. Yeah, that's my little rap session for the day. Hey, this is Jason Bates, the host of this show, of this podcast, Valley of the Sun Real Estate Show. Hey, if you want to reach out to the show, I want to hear from you. And you can do so by visiting my website at www.valleyofthesunrealestateshow.com. And from there, you can reach out to me through Twitter, Facebook, Google, whatever. All social media is right there in one convenient stop. Check out some videos. Check out past episodes of this podcast. And if you're listening to me on iTunes, hey, if you would, please take the time and write a review of the show. Good, bad, or indifferent, I don't care. It's the only way that I have, or the only tool that I have to improve the show. So please write a review. I really would appreciate your feedback.
Come on, do it. That was easy.
And I want to get into today's subject, and this subject today, or this topic today, real estate scams. And this thing, I'm actually I'm just pissed off that I even have to talk about this, that there are these type of people out there that are taking advantage of people in their most vulnerable state. And that is, they would need a roof over their head. I mean, there's a lot of stress that goes on with purchasing a home or even finding a rental. I mean, there's a lot of stress. And to take advantage of somebody during that stressful time in their life is just appalling to me. And people like that just need to be thrown in jail and the key just, thrown away, or, change the locks on the doors or cells or what. I don't know. I can't even talk because I get so upset about this.
Dude.
So, first of all, I'm going to apologize. I didn't even have to talk about this, but I want to get the subject matter out there. I saw this subject matter on the news just a couple of weeks ago about a scammer right here in the Valley. And I'm going to tell you about his scam here in just a moment. But he right here in the Valley, and through my research, this isn't isolated to Phoenix. This is something that's all across the United States, and it really just pisses me off. So I'm going to go through a couple of these little scams here that they kind of go through, or that are kind of proposed out there and kind of floating around. And then I'm going to give you some solutions on what you can kind of look for and what you can do to try to avoid some of these scams.
Let me explain something to you.
So this gentleman here, and I'm going to leave it nameless. I'm not going to say any names here because I don't want any lawsuits or anything like that. Innocent until proven guilty, all that kind of stuff. I get it. But the gist of these scams is that they take these homes that are either listed for sale or vacant. And they take pictures of these homes, and you say, oh, okay, well, how do they take pictures? Well, you can pull pictures from the MLS or from Trulia, Zillow. All these pictures are all over the internet nowadays. You can pull these pictures of homes from anywhere. Then they take and create a false Craigslist ad saying the home is for rent. And that's typically on homes that are vacant.
No, really?
So you may have a house that's vacant out there that maybe just got remodeled, might be in the process of getting remodeled and getting up for sale. That was a big kind of deal here in Arizona, at least in Phoenix. Over the past few years, it's kind of calmed down a little bit with the investors because the margins just aren't there. However, there still are some vacant homes that investors are going in and rehabbing, and these scammers, these dirtbags, would go in there and take pictures or pull pictures from the internet, post them on Craigslist as a property for rent. You say, well, yeah, but so what? I mean, so they post it for rent, and what does that mean? Well, what they do, and the whole heartbeat of this scam is they then show this property, and some of these guys I've heard, and this not in this particular case here in Phoenix, although I'm sure it's probably happened. They actually go in, change the locks on these properties, then walk these people through the property, show them the property, take their earnest money or their rent deposit, first and last month's rent, and then take off, and then never to be heard from again. Now, then the owner of the property goes to visit the property, right? And says, hey, who are you guys? Oh, we rented this property. Blah. Who are you? Oh, well, I own this place. What do you mean you own this place? Some guy told me he owned it. So what do you... Then they try to get with the guy who sent them the rental and lease agreement. He's nowhere to be found, or that organization is nowhere to be found. So just a dirty, rotten scam. And there's quite a few people who have lost money. And again, this is not isolated just to Phoenix. I through my research, I've seen that this has been a problem or is a problem throughout the country. And it's probably become a bigger problem, more of a focal point here because rent, and so many people are in that penalty box, and rent demand is so high. I know it's very high here in Phoenix. And so these rental scams are out there. And these scammers, these just dirtbags, are taking advantage of people when they're, trying to find a rental place, and they think they got this gem, and it's just perfect, and it has the pool, the big backyard, blah, blah, blah. Has everything they're looking for, and they give their first and last month's earnest deposit, then pull up the next day to move in, and, only to find out that they can't move in. Or they may move in, and then the owner shows up and says, hey, you got to get out. And so that's a whole nother issue. So the scammer on Craigslist it's just tragic. So renting empty houses, right? That's a big scam going on right now, as I kind of just spoke of. Renting on foreclosed homes. Now, foreclosed homes, really, that's not too prevalent right now. There's not as many foreclosed homes right now that are sitting vacant, but they are still out there, and it might be in your neighborhood or your community across the country. Not so much here in Phoenix anymore. And then renting houses that are legitimately for sale. As I said, through my research, I saw a couple in Indiana who had their house for sale, listed for sale, and a scammer took their photos from their listing, put it on a Craigslist ad or Backpage ad, and listed it for rent. And she had people literally knocking on her door saying, hey, and peeking in her windows, hey, we're moving in today. And she's like, well, what are you talking about? I own this place. I'm like, what do you mean you own this place? Well, I own it. It's just for sale. It's not for rent. So unbelievable. I mean, I'm kind of speechless with this whole thing. So renters beware out there for sure. Be aware of these things. Now, I want to, these are the rental scams that are out there right now. And as far as real estate goes, there is a scam that's not so prevalent out here in Phoenix anymore, but it's seminars, phony seminars where you pay a lot of money. You can use somebody else's credit or somebody else's money to purchase homes. That's a scam. It goes back, and all these scams, it all goes back to, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. And you really need to think about that. Now, one thing that you can do as a consumer to protect yourself and really do some research on these properties before you give anybody any money. First of all, you should be dealing with a licensed real estate agent in your community. Number one, whether you're renting a property or not renting purchasing a property, you should be dealing with a real estate agent first and foremost, because then they have some liability into the deal. They carry E&O insurance and all kinds of other things to help protect you as a consumer and protect themselves. So just don't deal with a particular landlord, because you can end up getting in trouble with something like that. And not just related to the scams, but just contractually, there may be some things that can get you into trouble. So I always suggest dealing with a real estate agent, no matter if you're renting or purchasing. But the one thing you can do here, at least in Maricopa County, I know in Pinal County, Yavapai County, some of these other counties here in and around Arizona, is you can go to the county website, and at maricopa.gov for here in Phoenix, Arizona, you can go there, and then on the left-hand side for maricopa.gov, there is a section, assessor/parcel information. It's on the quick links on the left-hand side. And from there, you can type in the address of the property. And many people might not know, but all property information, any parcel, tax deeded property here in Maricopa County and across the country, is public information. So you can find out who actually owns that property. So if you are dealing with somebody who is not a licensed realtor, you can look up the property that you may want to rent, for example, or purchase, and you can find out the history of that property through the county records. You can find out what the taxes are, who's responsible for the taxes, and if it's a business that owns the taxes or an LLC, then you can go to the Arizona Corporation Commission's website, and you can look up that LLC and find out who the responsible parties are for that LLC, or who the owners of the LLC are. So that's one way that you can take and just take a little bit of time, get on the internet, go to maricopa.gov, research that property, find out who owns that property. And then from there, you can, look them up, do a white pages search or something like that, a 411, maybe call that owner and or cross-reference that owner with the person on the contract to see if it's the same person. And that would be my suggestion when dealing with rentals or as an owner-occupied purchase property deal. Research the property, because ultimately you're renting that property. You're not renting that landlord, you're renting that property. So you want to make sure that property is attached to whoever's on your contract. And that would be my best suggestion for you to protect yourself from any type of scam out there. But again, I'm sorry I had to have this conversation or have this podcast about scams out there. It just really pisses me off that there are those scams out there and taking advantage of people, kicking them when they're down. So anyway, I hope you got some information out of this about these rental scams. Number one, hey, try not to go onto Craigslist. I mean, Craigslist is good for a lot of things, but real estate, probably not a good resource for real estate. A real estate agent, when you're purchasing a home or a rental, it's free. It doesn't cost you anything. So deal with a real estate agent. It's just totally, I don't know why you wouldn't deal with a real estate agent. So call your local realtor. They can help you get into a rental property for sure. So with that being said, I hope you got some valuable information out of this podcast or out of this episode. If you want to hear anything, any other type of topic, please reach out to me. I'd love to hear from you. You can reach out to me by visiting my website there at www.valleyofthesunrealestateshow.com. And from there, you can reach out to me any social media, email, phone, call me, however you want to reach out to me. I'd love to hear from you. So thank you for taking time out of your day to listen to what I have to say. And again, I hope you got out of it as much as I put into it. And I know I put a lot into this show. I really enjoy doing the show. So thank you for downloading the show and listening. Really do appreciate it. And if you have any real estate needs, please reach out to me. I would love to help. So until next time, take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Jason Bates, NMLS 220798, mortgage banking license 0119128, equal housing lender, sound effects provided by soundwave.com.